Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The VA awards over $800 million. I wanted to talk about it, share that with you. But before I do, I wanted to throw on a special thank you to two folks that did some super chats or whatever it's called, super comment. And I really appreciate your support. One is Francis. Thank you so much, Francis. I really, really appreciate your super chat there in the comments, the super thanks. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you and your support. And Thomas Valkovich, thank you so much for your super comment as well. I really do appreciate you both. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong. All right, so let's jump into this. The VA awards over $800 million in grants, and I wanted to talk about that here today. This came out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, August 16th, and I wanted to share it with you here today. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Everybody that does that helps this to get pushed out to more of us, right? If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the homepage, and you'll see the highlighted members there. All right, so the headline is, VA awards over $800 million in grants to help homeless and at-risk veterans and their families. All right, so this might not be your situation, but it might be one of our brothers or sisters' situation, and this might land in their lap to give them a little bit of an awareness. I'll share a little bit along the way as well. All right, jumping into it. This is directly from the VA, and I'm just going to kind of read it and give you my 2 cents along the way. So today, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs announced it will award $806.4 million in grants to help homeless and at-risk veterans through the Supportive Services for Veterans Families and Homeless Providers Grant Per Diem Programs. Now, just to throw it out there, I was a director of a nonprofit that received Supportive Services for Veterans Families, SSVF, grant funding. So our office helped veterans in need of housing assistance, right? Either at risk or currently homeless. So I'll shine any light I can on this, and we'll go from there. So they have a couple different bullet points here, one covering SSVF and one covering the Grant Per Diem, or GPD, which you will hear that sometimes if you're in that world. So Supportive Services for Veterans Families. Through the Supportive Services for Veterans Families, that's the SSVF program, VA is awarding 239 grants totaling approximately $797.5 million, there you go, to community organizations that help rapidly rehouse veterans and their families, prevent the imminent loss of a veteran's home, or identify more suitable housing situations. The Grant Per Diem program, through the GPD program, VA will award 14 grants totaling approximately $8.9 million to community organizations that provide veterans with transitional housing and case management, including connecting eligible veterans to VA benefits, community-based services, and permanent housing. These special need grants will fund approximately 105 transitional housing beds to support special populations of homeless veterans, including women, elderly, terminally ill, chronically mentally ill, or those who care for minor dependents. Ending veteran homelessness is a top priority of the VA and the current administration. The number of veterans experiencing homelessness fell by 4.5% between 2020 and 2023 and has dropped 52% overall since 2010. These grants also build upon a significant progress to end veteran homelessness, including progress towards VA's fiscal year 2024 goal to house 41,000 more homeless veterans. In 2023, VA placed more than 46,500 homeless veterans into permanent housing, exceeding the goal set for 2023 by nearly 23%. There's a quotation here from the VA secretary. It goes on to say, "We're making real progress in reducing veteran homelessness, but there's much more work to do," said the VA secretary. These grants allow VA and the entire administration, alongside community partners, to provide more housing and wraparound services to more homeless and at-risk veterans than ever before. These efforts are built upon the evidence-based Housing First approach, which prioritizes housing veterans, followed by providing them the wraparound support to stay housed, including healthcare, job training, legal and education assistance, and more. These new grant awards come just a week after the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and VA announced policy changes that will help more veterans receive housing assistance under the HUD-VA Supportive Housing HUD-VASH program. For those that did not watch the videos that I pushed out on that, essentially HUD has this program called HUD-VASH. HUD-VASH is essentially like a Section 8 voucher for veterans specifically. It's kind of like a subsidy. So if you can afford whatever, $1,000 per month towards your rent, but the rent is $2,000, they will pay $1,000, you will pay $1,000, and there you go. Rent is paid and you have a place to live. So these HUD-VASH vouchers have an income cap for you, the veteran. A lot of veterans who were 100% VA connected, right, disability compensation at 100%, were essentially out of that HUD-VASH market because they made too much money on VA disability. That was a counted income. They now have removed that as a barrier, which is actually a great thing. All right, so moving back into this, the changes include requiring public housing agencies that administer HUD-VASH to set initial income eligibility at 80% of area median income and excluding veterans' disability benefits when determining income eligibility, both of which are expected to increase the number of veterans eligible for housing assistance. That is huge. And HUD-VASH is outside of SSVF. They often work together. They marry up nicely, but they're two separate programs. HUD-VASH and SSVF is grant funding, okay? So an example of how that could work together is you're a veteran, you've identified a property, the property's willing to take HUD-VASH to help you subsidize the monthly payment for rent, but you don't have the money for the security deposit, for the first month's rent, that type of stuff. So you can utilize SSVF grant funding to help get you into the home, and then you utilize HUD-VASH to keep you in the home, if that makes sense. Moving on. For more information about VA's comprehensive efforts to end veterans' homelessness, you can visit the va.gov/homeless. To learn more about the Grant Per Diem program or view the full list of grantees, visit the Grant Per Diem website. To learn more about the supportive services for veterans' families, that's the SSVF program, or view the full list of grantees, visit the Supportive Services for Veterans Families website. So, great opportunities for folks. I'm going to give you a phone number here too if you or somebody you know is experiencing homelessness or are at risk of becoming homeless. What's at risk? It's you're renting a place, you're late on the rent, you got maybe a 3-day notice to vacate or something like that. Day one of that 3-day notice, you need to be reaching out to an SSVF provider and see what can happen. If you have a shut-off notice from an electric company, gas company, water company, those types of things make the home inhabitable, those would also be considered at risk of becoming homeless. You can call the National Call Center for Homeless Veterans at 877-424-3838. With that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.